Good day everyone, especially to Ma'am Maggie. I am Trisha C. Santos and today I am going to tackle about the material self. So when we say material self, according to William James 1980, the self is everything that an individual considered to be his or her reputation and beliefs. The self, therefore, is composed of the material self, which is the manifestation of one identity through his or her material possessions. So, I will give you an example of material self. Is the clothes that people wear. Clothes represent the self. The style and brands of the clothes become significant symbols, particularly a
The role of material possessions and sense of self and identity. To determine the meaning of possessions to one's identity, three stages of the life course are investigated. Specifically, the role and nature of possessions as individuals seek to create. During youth, to maintain during the mainstream years, and to preserve during the elderly years. Identity over time is examined. Comparisons are made between the stages to exemplify the different roles that possessions play across the life course. Following a discussion of how facing death forces individuals to resolve their identity and how individuals use possessions to make these resolutions at different life stages, the paper concludes by suggesting that marketers be more sensitive to the meanings which people attach to their possessions. Possessions play a role in creating, maintaining, and preserving the identity of individuals. Over time, individuals develop a set of symbols which they believe represent the self-identity that they want to project, as these material possessions are a part of one's identity. The symbolic role which possessions play in giving meaning to life is not a new concept in consumer research. However, recognizing the role that possessions play in different stages of the life course have been referred to as our years of learning, our years of earning, and our years of yearning. Within each of these stages, individuals use possession to enhance or maintain a positive identity over time. The salience of possessions to identify may be most noticeable as one realizes that death is imminent. With this realization, the identity of an individual becomes very central to one in one's remaining time. The objective of this paper is to investigate the importance of possessions in creating, maintaining, and preserving one's identity over the life course. Particular attention is given to the role which possessions play in helping individuals to prepare for death. The paper begins by examining the roles that possessions play in this process. Next, the role of possessions over the three trajectories in the life cycle, youth, mainstream, and elderly, are examined. Although it is realized that this trichotomy is a gross oversimplification of the life course, the obvious variations within stages will be touched upon. In each stage, the roles which possessions play in facing death are explored. Finally, the implications of this research to marketers are offered. Identity and possessions. Through introspection, individuals achieve an understanding of their identity. Thus, a person's identity is said to be a function on how a person is viewed by himself or herself. One's identity is determined by examining the categories one uses to explain whose or he is in relation to past experiences, to others, and to the future. Thus, an individual's identity consists of the personal and social characteristics of people as understood by themselves and others. These personal and social characteristics are often expressed to oneself and others through material possessions. Dietmar 1991 notes the function of possessions for identity ranges from their functional or instrumental roles to their symbolic roles by imbuing the possession with meaning. In their function, roles possessions give the user control over an experience. In contrast, in their symbolic roles, possessions symbolize and reflect personal characteristics as well as group affiliation.
Consumer culture is a social system in which consumption is dominated by the consumption of commercial products. Consumer culture denotes a social arrangement in which the relations between life culture and social resources and between meaningful ways of life and the symbolic and material resources on which they depend on are mediated through markets. So, consumer culture, it refers to a social and economic system in which the acquisition and consumption of goods and services play a central role in people's lives. It emphasizes the importance of purchasing and owning products as a means of expressing identity, achieving social status, and pursuing happiness and fulfillments. The consumption of markets made commodities and desire, including marketing symbols, is central to consumer culture. A consumerist society is one in which people spend great deal time, money, and energy to consume commercial products, goods, and services. So the consumption of markets, it is the act of individuals or household engaging in the process of purchasing and using goods and services available in the market. And we talk also in a commercial products. It refers to goods and services that are produced, marked, and sold for profit in the marketplace. These products are created by business with the intention of meeting consumer needs, generating revenue, and sustain their operations. Examples of commercial products are physical goods, digital products, consumer packaged goods, luxury goods, and services. So consumer products are designed, manufactured, and distributed by business to fulfill specific consumer needs, desire, or demands. Consumerism is the consumption of material goods and services in excess of one's basic needs. Consumerism is closely tied to materialism. So, consumerism is the idea that increasing the consumption of goods and services purchased in the market is always a desirable goal, and that a person's well-being and happiness depend fundamentally on obtaining consumer goods and material possessions. Consumerism and materialism, both the way individuals view the self. It can be viewed positively and negatively. For instance, people tend to be happiest and more motivated when their wants and needs are met. On other hand, it encourages people to buy products and services that they do not really need or afford. So for lastly, consumer culture also places a strong emphasis on the acquisition and possession of material goods. It promotes the belief that owning certain products can bring happiness, success, and social acceptance.